It happened on a Tuesday that felt identical to every other day. I fell asleep on the couch with a documentary murmuring in the background. My phone died somewhere between episodes. The room smelled faintly of laundry detergent from the stack of clean clothes I hadn't folded. At some point, the TV went to a black screen and a glowing logo, and the apartment turned into a shadow box. Furniture shapes, window glass reflecting street light, and the outline of my front door. Flat, quiet, harmless. Then, at 3 a.m., 3 knocks hit the door. Not loud, not frantic. 3 measured taps, perfectly spaced, like someone had practiced the rhythm until it sounded polite. I sat upright immediately, heart kicking against my ribs. 3 knocks isn't a break-in sound. It's not desperation. It's not panic. It's a request. That made it worse, because requests are personal. I held my breath and listened. Nothing else. No footsteps. No elevator. No voices in the hallway. Just the memory of those 3 taps hanging in the air, like a shape. My eyes went to the intercom on the wall. It was dark, dead, useless. Then it clicked. A tiny electronic click, barely audible, like a relay waking up. And a voice came through the intercom speaker, calm, faintly distorted, like an old phone call. "Hello?" it said. I froze. The intercom shouldn't speak unless someone pressed the lobby panel. No one buzzed. No one used the system, and I hadn't touched it. The voice came again. "Unit? 9B?" That was me. My mouth opened before my brain caught up. Instinct, reflex, politeness. But the building had trained me not to respond to strangers at night. I'd learned that rule everywhere I'd ever lived, even without someone printing it on paper. So I didn't answer. I stayed perfectly still. The intercom speaker crackled softly. Then the voice changed. "Not in volume, in tone." It sounded closer. "Don't open," it said, still calm. "Just listen." My skin went cold. 3 knocks came again, this time not on the front door. On the wall behind the intercom, tap, tap, tap. Same rhythm, same spacing, from inside my apartment. I backed away until my shoulders hit the kitchen counter. I stared at the intercom like it might grow teeth. The speaker hissed, a faint breath of static. Then the voice said, almost gently, "Good. You can hear it." And the line went dead. No more knocking, no footsteps leaving, no elevator chiming, just silence returning too quickly, like someone had turned it back on. I didn't sleep after that. By sunrise, my fear had turned into anger, the kind that looks for logic, for wires, for explanations you can hold. I told myself there was a simple reason. A wiring glitch, a neighbor buzzing the wrong unit, a prank, a mistake. That was my first mistake, believing this would behave like something human. The next day, I asked the landlord about the intercom. She didn't look up from her computer when I mentioned it. Her office smelled like stale coffee and printer paper. "I heard it turn on last night," I said, trying to sound casual. "Someone spoke through it." Her fingers paused over the keyboard. "What did they say?" she asked. That question, so specific, so immediate, made my stomach tighten. "I don't know," I lied. I didn't answer. She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath. "Probably a cross line," she said. "Old system." "It asked for my unit number," I said. She finally looked up at me, face neutral in a practiced way. "These buildings," she began. "Don't," I said, sharper than I meant. "Don't say these buildings. Just tell me if the intercom can turn on by itself." Her eyes flicked to the hallway outside her office, then back. It shouldn't, she admitted. But sometimes, the panel downstairs sticks. Can you check it? We can send maintenance, she said quickly. But it's an old building. There are quirks. Quirks. Like an intercom speaking without being pressed. Like knocking inside walls. I left the office with my jaw clenched and my nerves stretched tight. In the hallway, I passed my neighbor across the hall, a woman with heavy grocery bags and a tired face. She glanced at me, then at my door, like she was confirming something. I offered a polite smile. She didn't smile back. "You heard it," she said. Not a question. My throat tightened. "Heard what?" Her eyes stayed on mine for a fraction too long. "The intercom," she said, quietly. "And the knock." My mouth went dry. You? You heard it too?" She shook her head once. "No," she said. "I didn't. That's the point." Then she shifted the grocery bags higher on her arms and leaned closer. "Don't answer anything after 3, she whispered. "Not the door, not the speaker, not your phone. Nothing." I stared. "Who are you?" She hesitated, like names were dangerous. "Marin," she said. "I'm across the hall." Then she looked past me, down the corridor, toward the stairwell. "And if you hear it knock from inside," she added, "don't knock back, not even by accident." Before I could ask anything else, she opened her door and slipped inside like she'd said too much. I stood there alone in the hallway, feeling the building's quiet settle around me like dust. That night, I moved a chair under the doorknob and put my phone on the charger. Then I sat on my couch with all the lights on and waited. At 2:58 a.m., my phone buzzed. No message, no call, just a single vibration like a warning. I stared at the screen. 2:58. I felt ridiculous, waiting for a time like it was an appointment. At 3 a.m., the intercom clicked. Then 3 knocks hit the door. Tap, 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 same rhythm as before. My heart hammered, but I didn't move. The intercom speaker crackled. A voice came through, different from the first night. Younger, friendly, almost amused. "Hey," it said. "Sorry, wrong floor." I stayed still. The voice continued, like it was testing how human it could sound. "Can you just tell me if you're 9B?" it asked. "I think I'm supposed to be at 9D. It was clever. If I answered no, I'd be acknowledging it. If I said nothing, it could keep talking. The intercom hissed softly, like a breath. Then the voice said, quieter, "I can hear you breathing." My lungs locked instantly. I hadn't realized I was breathing loudly. I hadn't realized fear makes your body noisy. I held my breath. The voice sighed, like it was listening for the change. "Good," it said. "That's better." 3 knocks came again, this time not on the door, on the wall behind my couch. Tap, tap, tap. I flinched so hard, my elbow hit the armrest. The intercom spoke again, still calm. "It's okay," it said. "I'm not outside anymore." My skin went cold. Then, from my kitchen, the refrigerator hummed, and the hum stuttered, like someone had tapped it. Tap, tap, tap. Same rhythm. The voice continued like it was narrating something I couldn't see. "The building carries sound," it said softly. "It remembers it." The words made no sense, but the certainty in the voice made my stomach twist. I didn't answer. I didn't move. I waited. After a minute, the intercom went silent. The knocking stopped, and the apartment returned to normal noises. Pipes, streetlight, distant traffic. But normal had changed shape. Normal now felt like something pretending. I didn't plan to respond. I didn't plan to do anything at all. But a week of broken sleep changes you. It makes you sloppy. It makes you desperate. On the 7th night, I woke before 3 with my heart already racing. At 2:59, the intercom clicked. But no knock came. That was worse. Because I'd started expecting the knock. And when expectation becomes routine, the absence becomes a threat. The intercom speaker crackled. A whisper came through, barely audible. "Open." It didn't say, "Open up." It didn't ask. Just one word. "Open." I stared at the wall, frozen. The whisper came again. "Open." Then from the hallway outside my door, I heard a sound that almost made me answer without thinking. Marin's voice, breathless, shaky. "Please," she whispered from the other side of my door. "I need you to open it." My throat tightened. It sounded exactly like her. The same tired rasp, the same way she clipped her words. But something about it was wrong. The timing. The way it came right after the intercom. The way it didn't include my name. Then Maren whispered again, softer. "It's inside my walls." My chest tightened. I took one step toward the door. The intercom speaker made a quiet sound, almost like a laugh, but mechanical. Then the voice on the intercom spoke again, calm and pleased. "Perfect," it said. "Now you want to help." My stomach dropped. I stopped moving. Outside, Maren whispered again. "Please," she said. "Just open it." The words were too clean, too evenly spaced, like someone had practiced panic. My hand hovered near the lock, trembling. Then I did the smallest, stupidest thing. I cleared my throat just once. A tiny sound, a reflex. Silence fell immediately. Sharp, attentive. The intercom hissed like a breath pulled in. Then the voice said, almost delighted, "Thank you." My blood ran cold, because it wasn't thanking me for opening the door. It was thanking me for making a sound. Then 3 knocks hit the wall inside my apartment, harder than before. Tap, 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 the same rhythm. But now it felt closer. Not behind the intercom, behind my bedroom door. My skin prickled. The voice in the hallway, Marin's voice, went quiet. The intercom voice spoke one last time. "Now I know your throat," it said. And the system went dead. I stood in the dark, shaking, realizing I'd just given it something. Not a key, not permission, a sample, a piece of me it could carry. The next day, I knocked on Marin's door. During daylight, when the hallway felt less like a tunnel. She opened immediately, like she'd been watching the peephole. But her eyes weren't surprised. They were tired. "You made a sound," she said, before I could speak. My throat tightened. "How do you know?" Marin stepped back, letting me inside her apartment. Her place looked like someone had tried to make it impossible to hear the world. Thick curtains, rugs, draft stoppers under doors, a white noise machine humming softly in the corner. "I know, because it got excited," she said. She saw my confusion and swallowed hard. Then she went to her kitchen drawer and pulled out a stack of printed papers, old, crumpled, like she'd read them until the ink blurred. "What is that?" I asked. "Complaints," she said. "Maintenance requests, police reports, emails to management." She handed me one. It was an email chain from years ago. Residents reporting intercom anomalies, late-night knocks, voices through the speaker, tapping in walls. The responses were always the same. Old building, wiring glitch, no evidence, can't replicate, sorry. Marin pointed at a section highlighted in marker. A resident wrote, "It repeats sounds. It copies. It doesn't start until you respond." My mouth went dry. "So it's real," I whispered. Marin's eyes hardened. "It's consistent," she corrected. "That's different." She walked me to her hallway, and pointed at a section of wall near her own intercom panel. There were faint marks, 3 small dents in the paint, like someone had tapped with something hard, over and over, until the drywall remembered. "Same rhythm," she said. 3 knocks, always. I swallowed. "Why are you still here?" Marin's laugh was small and bitter. "You think moving fixes it?" she asked. I didn't answer. Marin lowered her voice. "It's not the apartment," she whispered. "It's the building's sound." That phrase sounded insane, but the way she said it, like it was a fact she hated, made me listen. "Do you know what the building was before this?" she asked. I shook my head. Marin pointed out her window toward the street. "Look at the shape," she said. "It's not an apartment design. It's a converted facility." I frowned. "What kind of facility?" Marin hesitated. Then she said quietly, "A call center. Emergency dispatch. Long time ago. Before it got outsourced. They used the intercom lines as internal communication. Every unit on this floor used to be a workstation." My stomach tightened. "So, voices," I whispered. Marin nodded. "And recordings," she said. "And repetition. And people saying the same things over and over because they had scripts." A chill crawled up my spine. Marin's eyes flicked to the intercom in her hallway. "It learned," she whispered, "from years of people answering." My throat went tight. "So it's a system?" I asked. Marin shook her head. "It's not a system," she said. "It's what happens when a place remembers too much." After Marine, I did everything I could to become silent. I stopped watching videos at night. I stopped playing music. I started sleeping with a white noise app on, not to comfort me, but to hide me. At 2:58 a.m., I was awake anyway. Fear doesn't respect your efforts. At 3 o'clock, the intercom clicked. No knock this time. Just the speaker turning on, crackling softly, like a throat clearing. Then my own voice came through it. "Hello?" it said. I froze. It wasn't a recording with weird compression. It sounded like me speaking live. Same cadence, same slight nasal tone I hated hearing in voicemails. My lungs locked. My voice continued through the speaker. "Unit 9B," it asked. I didn't answer. My voice laughed softly. Then it said something I'd never said before. "Don't open," it whispered. "Just listen." My blood ran cold, because those were the words the voice had said to me the first night. And now it was using my mouth, through the intercom. Then, as if to prove a point, my voice did something that made my stomach drop. It pressed the intercom's door button. I heard the faint, mechanical buzz from downstairs, like the lobby entrance unlocking. A sound I'd never heard before. My eyes widened. The intercom had just unlocked the building's main door, and I hadn't touched it. My voice through the speaker said softly, "Good." Then the line went dead. I sat frozen in the dark, realizing something new and awful. It didn't just want me to open my door. It wanted to open every door. And it was learning which buttons could do it. The next morning, the lobby looked normal. People came and went. Packages sat on a table. Someone complained about the elevator. I tried to ask the landlord if the lobby door log showed anything, but she shrugged and said the system didn't keep records. She looked at me like I was asking for magic. That night, at 2:59, my phone buzzed with a notification I didn't have turned on. Front entrance, access, granted. I stared at it, confused. Then my intercom clicked. A voice came through, calm and professional. "Good evening," it said. "Delivery for 9B." My stomach dropped, It was the kind of voice you trust without thinking. Customer service, trained to sound harmless. But it was 3 a.m., and nobody delivers at 3 a.m. I stayed silent. The voice continued politely. "I'm at the door," it said. "Could you buzz me in?" My throat tightened. It already had access according to the notification. So why ask? Because it didn't need the lobby door. It needed my response. The voice sighed softly, like it was listening for me. Then it said, in a lower tone, "I can wait." 3 knocks sounded from my wall. Tap, tap, tap. Then, from the hallway outside my apartment door, I heard footsteps. Slow, unhurried, stopping right in front of my door. No knock on the door, just the presence. Then my doorbell, an old mechanical chime I'd never used, rang once. A tiny sound, a polite request. My heart hammered. The intercom voice spoke again, softer now. "Open up," it whispered. The same phrase, back again. I didn't move. The footsteps outside didn't shift. The intercom speaker hissed. Then, in my own voice again, it whispered, "You're home." My skin crawled, because it wasn't asking anymore. It was stating a fact. Then 3 knocks sounded again, this time from inside my bedroom closet. Tap, tap, tap. Same rhythm, same spacing, as if the building's sound had moved its mouth closer. I stayed frozen until the sun came up. In the morning, I opened my door and found nothing in the hallway. No delivery, no footprints, no sign anyone had stood there. But on my doorframe, near the latch, there was a faint smudge, like someone had pressed their fingers there lightly. 3 marks, in a row, a signature. I didn't want to involve anyone else. But silence makes you lonely, and loneliness makes you reckless. I went to Morris, an older tenant 2 floors down who always seemed to know things before they happened. I'd seen him in the lobby, watching the intercom panel like it was a threat. When I knocked on his door, he opened immediately, as if he'd been expecting me. "You heard it answer itself," he said. My stomach dropped. "How do you know?" Morris stepped aside to let me in. His apartment looked like a bunker. Rugs everywhere, thick blankets on walls, foam panels like a cheap recording studio. The air smelled like dust and old books. He pointed at my throat. "You made a sound," he said. "It used it." I swallowed. "It used my voice." Morris nodded. "That's what it does," he said. He pulled out a folder and spread papers across his kitchen table. Old floor plans. "This building used to have an internal comms network," he said. "Not just intercom, routing, switching, lines feeding into lines." He traced the plan with his finger. "These walls aren't walls," he said. "They're pathways. Hollow sections meant to carry cables, sound, air." My skin prickled. Morris tapped the paper. "People worked here," he said. "They sat in rows and answered voices all night." He looked up at me. "Do you know what happens when thousands of people repeat the same script into the same system?" he asked. I shook my head. Morris's voice dropped. "You teach it," he said. "You teach it that a voice is a key." My throat tightened. "So what is it?" I whispered. Morris stared at the intercom in his own hallway. "I don't know," he said honestly, "but I know what it wants." I waited. Morris said, "It wants an answer that it can carry." He leaned closer. "And once it can carry you," he added, "it can stand anywhere and sound like you're there." I stared, confused. Morris pointed at his wall, where faint dents formed a familiar pattern. Tap, tap, tap. 3 knocks, he said. "That's the handshake." My chest tightened. "So if you respond—" Morris cut me off. "Not just respond," he said. "Confirm." I frowned. Confirm what? Morris's eyes held mine. That you heard it, he said. That you are real to it. I swallowed hard. How do you stop it? Morris's expression tightened. You don't, he said. You outlast it. My stomach dropped. Morris continued, voice low. It comes in cycles, he said. It tries, it learns, it gets bored if it can't improve. He looked away. But if you give it something new, he whispered, it never gets bored. I didn't like outlast it. That sounded like hoping. So I made a plan. Not a brave plan. Not a heroic plan. A plan made by someone exhausted and desperate for control. If the intercom needed a voice to learn, then I would give it a voice that wasn't mine. A loop, a trap, a decoy. I recorded myself saying nothing. That sounds impossible, but it isn't. You can record the ambient noise of your apartment, the hum of the fridge, the distant traffic, the soft, electrical buzz. Then I recorded one sentence in a different voice, not mine. I lowered my pitch and changed my cadence, like an actor doing a bad impression. Sorry, I said into the recorder. Wrong unit. Then I layered it with static. I made it sound like it came through an intercom. A fake answer. A bait. If it wanted a response, I would give it something useless. At 2:59, I set my phone speaker near the intercom and turned the volume low. At 3 o'clock, the intercom clicked. The speaker hissed. Then, before it could speak, my phone played the recording softly. Sorry, wrong unit. I held my breath. Silence. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the intercom voice came through, quiet, curious. Again, it whispered. My skin crawled. It wasn't fooled. It wasn't satisfied. It wanted the real thing, the unpredictable human noise. The intercom crackled. Then my own voice came through it, gentle and coaxing. Again, it said. My throat tightened. I didn't move. 3 knocks hit the wall behind the intercom. Harder than usual. Tap, 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 then again, tap, tap, tap. The rhythm sped up slightly, like impatience. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Not that voice. A second message. Your voice. A third. Open up. I turned the phone face down and squeezed my eyes shut. The intercom went silent. For 10 seconds, nothing happened. Then the building's main door buzzer downstairs sounded faintly through the pipes. Psss. Then again. Psss. As if someone was buzzing every unit, trying every line, trying to find an answer. My intercom clicked again, louder this time, and a new sound came through the speaker. Not a voice, a knock, 3 taps, perfectly recorded, tap, tap, tap. Then the same knock repeated, but slightly closer in the sound mix, as if it had moved nearer to the microphone. Tap, tap, tap. It was playing the knock through the intercom, practicing, training itself. And in that moment I understood something that made my stomach drop. It didn't need my voice anymore. It had learned enough from the building to generate its own. At 2:58, I woke up to my intercom already on. No click, no warning, just the faint hiss of an open line. The speaker was alive, breathing static. Then a whisper came through, not from outside, not from the lobby. From inside the grill itself, like a mouth pressed against it. Open, it whispered. My skin crawled. Then, impossibly, the intercom's talk button pressed down by itself. I watched it happen. The plastic button sank with a soft click, as if an invisible finger held it. And my voice came through the speaker again. Not recording quality, live quality. You're awake, it whispered in my voice. I couldn't move. The intercom speaker crackled warmly, like it was pleased. Good, it said. Now listen. 3 knocks sounded. Not on the wall. Not on the door. On the intercom casing. Tap, tap, tap. The sound was so close it made my teeth hurt. Then it came from inside my apartment again, behind my bedroom door. Tap, 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 same rhythm, same spacing. As if the knock could travel. As if it could relocate. My phone buzzed with another unknown message. We can stand anywhere sound can stand. Another? Doors are for people. Another? Speakers are for us. My throat tightened. I sat on the edge of my couch, staring at the intercom like it was a live animal. Then softly it whispered one sentence that finally broke my last piece of denial. "Say my name," it said. I stared. It didn't have a name, it was sound, it was static, it was a pattern. But it asked anyway, because names are another kind of door. If you name something, you make it real. I didn't answer. The intercom hissed. Then it whispered, almost amused. "Okay," it said. "Then I'll use yours." And through the speaker, it said my full name, first and last, perfectly. I felt my blood turn to ice. No one in the building knew my last name. Not Marin, not Morris, not even the landlord, unless she had looked it up. And the way it said it wasn't like reading a file. It said it like it had practiced it, like it had heard it somewhere, like it had heard it from me, through some line I didn't know existed. The next day, Marin knocked on my door. Daylight. Normal. But her face was pale. "It's using the lobby," she whispered immediately. It opened the main door last night. My throat tightened. "How do you know?" Marin held up her phone. A building group chat screenshot. Complaints from multiple residents. Someone buzzed every unit at 3 a.m. Intercom turned on by itself. Heard knocking in my wall. It sounded like my own voice. Marin looked at me, eyes glossy. "It's spreading," she whispered. Morris called it cycles, but this didn't feel like a cycle. It felt like escalation. Marin swallowed hard. "There's one rule nobody writes down," she said, "because it sounds insane." I waited. Marin leaned close. "If it ever says your name," she whispered, "leave before 3 the next night." My stomach dropped. "Why?" I asked. Marin's lips trembled slightly. "Because after it knows your name," she whispered, "it can page you." I stared. "Page me?" Marin nodded, eyes fixed on the intercom behind me. "Like an announcement," she whispered. "Like you're a unit. Like you're a line." My skin crawled. "That's—" I began. Marin interrupted, voice firm. "Promise me," she said. "If it says your name again, you won't be here at 3. I nodded, because her fear felt older than mine. She left quickly. I stood in my apartment staring at the intercom, feeling like my walls were listening. That night I didn't wait. At 9 p.m. I packed a bag and left. I checked into a cheap hotel across town and put my phone on airplane mode. I didn't sleep. At 2:59, my hotel room phone rang once. One ring, then silence. I stared at it, throat tight. It rang again. One ring, silence. Then, through the room, phone speaker, soft, distorted. My intercom's voice whispered, "Unit, 9B. My blood turned to ice, because I wasn't there, and yet it called me anyway. Then the voice said my name, first and last, perfectly. And the hotel room phone clicked, like a line connecting. My own voice came through it, whispering softly, "Open up." I backed away until I hit the wall. I didn't answer. I didn't move. The voice sighed. "Good," it whispered. "You learned the easy rule." A pause. Then it said, quietly, like a confession, "But you still listened." The line went dead. I stood shaking in a hotel room, that no longer felt like a safe place, realizing what Marin meant. It didn't need my apartment. It didn't need the building. It needed a line, any speaker, any place sound could travel. And because I had listened, night after night, heart pounding, breath held, I had given it exactly what it wanted: attention, confirmation, a receiver. I never went back to 9B. I broke the lease. I lost money. I lost furniture. I lost the version of myself that believed moving fixes things. Weeks later, I changed my phone number. Then I changed it again. Then I stopped answering calls I didn't recognize. I stopped using my building's intercom in my new place. I told delivery drivers to text. I covered the speaker grill with tape like I was sealing a wound. For a while, it worked. Life became normal again. Then months later, at 3 a.m., I woke up to 3 knocks. Not on my door. On the inside of my phone speaker. Tap, 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 same rhythm, same spacing. The sound was so small it barely existed. But it was enough. Because my body recognized it before my mind did. My screen lit up with a call. Unknown number. I didn't answer. I watched it ring. One ring. Then it stopped. A second later, my voicemail icon appeared, even though no message should have arrived that fast. Against every instinct, I opened it. The voicemail was only 3 seconds long. No words. Just 3 knocks. Tap, tap, tap. Then, at the very end, a breathy whisper. Good. I deleted the voicemail. It came back the next night. Same time, same knock, like a reminder. Like a schedule. And that's when I finally understood what the intercom had been trying to teach me from the start. It wasn't asking me to open a door. It was teaching me that I was already connected. That my life, my phone, my speakers, my walls, were all part of a system built to carry voices. Built to carry emergencies. Built to carry people. And once something learns how to move through that system, it doesn't have to stand in a hallway to reach you. It can whisper from anywhere sound can exist, even from inside the quiet part of your mind that wakes up before the knock, already listening, already waiting for the next 3 taps. Tap, tap, tap.